I'd love to hear about a moment that you've spoken of and written of very beautifully as meaningful, but I'm aware it might be painful. So, tell it as feels appropriate for you today. But I'd love to hear about the falcon that you nursed and that moment in your childhood and adolescence.
Well, it was obviously in my early adolescence. I was obsessed with kestrels at that time. Nothing else meant anything in the entire history of... No, kestrels are a falcon. They remember the falconidae family, yeah, so they are small falcons.
Of course I knew that.
Yeah, that's right. So I was utterly obsessed with them. They were the be-all and end-all of my universe. I had this kestrel. I was totally devoted to it. I don't remember anything else that happened in my life for that 6 months. Everything was about that one organism. And
you just said, I had this. How did you get it?
I took it from a nest because we'd gone through a process of applying for a license at that point. You could apply for a Home Office license, but working class oiks from Southampton didn't get them. And again, I'd already developed a healthy mistrust or lack of respect for any sort of authority. So, if people said no, that didn't mean no as far as I was concerned, and that was, again, manifesting as trouble at school because I sometimes wouldn't do it. Well, sometimes I wouldn't do as I was told. Anyway, so my parents were a bit upset about the fact that I'd essentially broken the law. But anyway, they forgave me because, well, there was no way they were going to take that bird away from me. There was no question of that. So anyway, I fell in love with the bird. It became the epicenter of everything. It was the nucleus and I was the electrons that just buzzed around it with an intensity and a fury, the likes of which were incomprehensible. The whole thing was, as I say, utterly breathless. And it became ill with a disease which could now be very easily treated, but at the time couldn't, and it died. With the benefit of hindsight, I didn't know what was going on. I was always already having trouble because of the neurodiversity. Then I was having trouble because of the trauma of losing the bird. I couldn't speak. I couldn't make words come out. My parents had this thing about, I had to carry on going to school. So I went to school, I couldn't speak. I got bullied even more because I couldn't, communicate to anyone. I went on for, a couple of weeks. And the aftermath was all a bit of a blur as well. It was just utterly traumatic. And it obviously had a profound impact on my life. And the fact that it coincided with that whole social separation between myself and my peers, which was happening far more rapidly at that point. It had really accelerated. So the exclusion and the bullying was really ramping up. And it occurred at that point. So it just fed and fueled, and what was essentially enormous personal turmoil. Lucky to get through it, frankly. I was very lucky to get through all of that.
Yeah, sorry.
That's all right. I think that I do talk about it because something good has to come from it, and if I can speak about it and help other young people, particularly neurodiverse young people who may find themselves in a similar position, sat in their bedroom. There's no tunnel, let alone light at the end of any tunnel. But if I can somehow help them to realise that, there is a way, there is a path forward, you've just got to hang on and find it, then it serves a real purpose. I hate the idea of anyone else having to go through so much solitary, disconnected, abject pain, basically.